I could tell you a whimsical tale that's probably very inaccurate.
The Sensible Sociopath.
2, 3, 1, go.
Roma, the podcast is here!
It really never gets old.
Sorry about those jokes I said earlier about babies with both sets of genitals.
What does that even mean?
You know, I'm willing to risk my life for this podcast, Roma.
Ugh, that sounds insane.
I'm also willing to risk your life for this podcast.
Periods are not just for women.
And you'll get to red pill yourself if you choose to.
Come on if you're thirsty.
Take off their underwear and relax with their uncle.
It was kind of traumatizing.
White people are bad and do bad things.
How fast can I eat your ass?
I mean, you know, you look at me and you go, this is an international man.
My whole life is a sham.
And you can't get the white Oreos. That's racist.
I think I counted like 25 racially charged jokes.
White privilege allows me to turn off someone's headlights.
I was just being agreeable.
Roma, when was the last time you were agreeable?
It's been days.
Also, if you try to poop really hard, sometimes you'll come.
You would think that we'd have our shit together.
It's the enema for your face.
Yeah, I was gonna say cleaning's for women.
I'm not a lady, Roma.
Oh, this is so gay.
Let's try to be inclusive, Roma.
What does that even mean?
I know these things, Roma. I know many things. Why, hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 190 of the Sensible Sociopath podcast.
190!
Woot, woot.
We did it!
My voice is back. That's good.
Yay!
I caught the COVID from some loose women, I'm sure. They came over the border, trying to help them out, you know. Jeez. Try to be a coyote once in a while, and look what happens.
Yeah.
I did have the COVID, and so I apologize for all the entertainment you've been lacking over the past year, beginning of the year.
Yeah, it's literally been a year.
Yeah,
Been the entire year.
since we've seen you.
It was crazy.
I came in, Stephen Paul, your host, by the way, Superfan Dan, sitting across from me.
Hi, guys.
And Romerica Rifkin in the
Hi.
producer's bay.
Roma.
And I was like, oh, hey, Roma, you look nice. And she's like, you look fat.
That's
And I was like,
fucked.
I was like, what? Uh-oh, Michaela's here. I was like, Roma, that hurts. That's hurtful. I've never said anything about fat people that's mean. And then, anyways, but yeah, the COVID was basically me just sitting here ordering DoorDash.
Yeah.
You just, yeah, I mean, that's basically all it was, because you kind of
can't
isolate
leave.
yourself.
Yeah.
You're not exercising. You're not doing anything. I wasn't like sick to my stomach at all. It was just like my throat and my cough and my voice and, you know, basically everything else except my appetite
Right.
was
Oh, man.
affected.
Did you ever lose your sense of taste and smell?
Not really. I think I think it got dulled a little bit.
So starve a fever and then gorge during the Rona.
Gorge a fat guy, yeah. So that's what I did. And so I think I've put on like 15 pounds in like literally 15 days.
Good Lord.
Well, it
Something
happens.
like that. Yeah, to the best of us.
I also got COVID. I had COVID before you had COVID, but
So you're cooler now, I guess.
well,
all right.
I didn't gain 15 pounds. I actually lost some weight because I lost my sense of taste and smell. So
My stuff was extra delicious.
Did you get your sense of smell back?
I was gone, like super gone for about 5 days.
Boy, that had to be weird being around fucking Minion for that long.
You can't smell his breath.
Yeah. Oh,
I know.
Roma, there's hope.
Okay.
I was in a podcasting conference, podcasting leadership conference.
Okay.
Earlier today. And one of my friends, Josh, he has a Chihuahua. And I said, how old is your Chihuahua? And he said, 20 years old.
What?
20.
That's not unheard of for small dogs. It does.
That's
I
insane.
knew somebody
Yeah.
had a giant black lab, and it lived to be like 21. They put him down finally because his hips weren't working.
Jesus Christ.
Well, I mean,
21.
just to be fair, I think that my
So he couldn't
aunt's,
fuck good anymore.
No.
my aunt's dachshund is like 17.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's a shock. He can't see, he can't hear, and he can barely smell.
Do you think it's AI? Do you think that's the reason why they're living longer?
Likely.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Because he was saying that his dog's teeth pop out like Pogs.
Yeah.
Or Pez.
Oh my God.
My dog's had teeth removed recently. I think last time he went in, he had like 6 removed or something.
He said a stiff breeze will remove teeth.
I knew somebody, they had a miniature poodle, and it was deaf and blind. And I mean, it was just like a shell of a dog, but they could
Helen
not put
Keller?
it down.
Yeah.
Yes, it was the Helen Kellers of dogs.
Helen Yeller, old Yeller. There's a joke in there somewhere. I
Yeah.
can't find it.
It's-
No teeth, had no teeth. It was blind and deaf.
Yeah,
and
perfect
just-
woman.
Kind of.
You get it,
It
guys?
was a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
She can't report you to the police. Anyways.
Let's say hi to people in the chat.
Oh, yeah. Let's say hi to
Let's
people.
see. We got AA Ron.
What's up, A-Row?
Kat's here. Margot's here.
Hi, Kat. Margot.
Who else was here? Hunter's here. Did I say that?
Hunter.
Hunter S. Thompson?
And Michaela.
yes. And
No, Hunter
Michaela.
Osborne.
Miko, I call her. I
He-
call her Ultra, actually. MK Ultra.
He-
Ooh. Okay. Hold on.
All right.
So speaking of MK Ultra, so do you remember when you were a child, you were in the
Short bus, yeah.
no, the Gifted and Talented program.
Mhm.
So most places call it GATE,
special.
Gifted and Talented, GAT.
Okay.
I think it was GATE, GATE, like Gifted and Talented Education, possibly.
Gay T. Yeah, sure.
I was hoping that
Anyways,
they just actually call it the GAT.
So it was something in the like early 90s that
Mhm.
they instituted all over the country.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of people coming out now saying that the GATE program, they were trying to find gifted individuals that they were going to basically like turn into MK Ultra,
Oh, shit.
like
they were going
whatever.
serial
And
on it.
so there's some people that had like really normal experiences, and
Sure.
then there's some people that had like really weird experiences where they were pretty much like basically brainwashing them. And I was listening to a podcast, and somebody was talking about their experience with it and like just how weird it is. I'll have to find it and have
Yeah,
you listen
yeah, you should
to
bring
it.
it in. Cause,
Yeah.
Because I mean, I remember there being things that were kind of odd. Like I learned how to sword fight in there, and like we would jump off of the stuff in the library. You remember the library, how it had those rounded shells?
Would they try and teach you how to parkour?
I don't know.
Yeah, it was basically like parkour, but we were sword fighting during it and stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So
It
they were
wasn't-
trying to turn you into Jedi.
Maybe. I don't know. But when Roma said that, I was like, yeah, that was kind of weird. Because I remember like my teacher swatting at my leg so I would jump over the sword.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And she was Asian. So,
Seems appropriate.
She's like,
that.
this normal Tuesday.
oh, and then also my other teacher, she had burns all over her body.
Oh.
Yeah. And like her whole arm was like scarred really, really bad. And I said, like I asked her what happened sometime, and she said she spilled hot food on herself. But now thinking back, I'm like, that's not hot food.
She overcooked the roast one too many times.
Well, I'm saying she's like probably a secret agent that was fucking burning shit or doing. I don't know, man. But yeah, you don't have that kind of like permanent damage from spilling hot potatoes on mashed potatoes.
No,
On yourself.
Sorry, I
no,
don't
I've
know.
seen some pretty bad burns.
Mhm. Yeah, but they're like oil or something like.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've even
So-
seen
Yeah.
oil. Like,
well, have you ever seen the commercial about domestic violence and the guy they're in a cafe and the guy starts yelling at his wife and then he takes the pot of hot coffee and like pours it all over her and they're like, you wouldn't do this in public, don't
No.
do it at home.
That was a Canadian thing, and he's like, you spilled my coffee.
Yeah.
And all she did was like spill it into the saucer. She
Yeah.
didn't even spill it, and he just like takes it and splashes it in her face
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
beats the shit out of her with the coffee
oh
pot.
my God.
Dude,
It's really violent. It's-
Canadian PSAs, dude, they're the best. And now
God,
they
I'd hate to see
actually.
a rape PSA.
Oh, they have them. No, I'm just kidding. So hot. They have the now they're doing them actually with CGI. And so
Oh.
like they actually have like people like falling off of buildings and shit because they fucked up and did like it's not like a domestic violence PSA, but it's like an OSHA like work safety PSA because
Okay.
those are awesome too. Have you seen those?
Mm-mm.
No.
Dude, we have to watch. Okay, we're gonna watch those on the next episode. Seriously,
Okay.
Roma, make a note
'Kay.
that we need to do those.
'Kay.
Because
Canadian PSA.
the Canadian PSAs for work safety are awesome, the best.
Kat, would you know anything about this?
Kat would have to know about this.
She'd
yes.
have to.
Yes.
I don't know. I think she works from home.
Yeah,
They
but
still
still.
got PSAs about working at home.
Yeah, you can still get burn raped at home if you're doing it right. Sorry, Kat, I didn't mean to bring that up.
Workplace accidents prevention.
Yeah, Yeah.
Canadian workplace safety.
Yeah, Canadian videos, whatever. That's
Yeah,
as long as
okay.
you got that, I'll remember exactly
Okay.
what I'm looking for. Yes.
So, anyways, if you had passed the test, you might have ended up in like MK Ultra or something. But apparently,
Well, and I know that there are
Cass is speaking of PSA. You should see Ireland's.
okay.
Oh, good Lord.
All right. Kat, if you got URLs, you send them to us. We'll put them on the show.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Kat gets
Start
full
this
credit.
year off right.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, I have a friend that was a. So there's a lot of what do they call them? Like attorney generals, basically.
Okay.
Like attorneys for the state or for the government.
Okay.
And so, there's like one attorney general, and then there's like a bunch of like inspector generals or something like that.
Attorney lieutenants.
Yeah. And so they each kind of like have their own lane that they're in and all that. And so he was one of them. He was one of these, which just, I guess, lends credibility to who he is.
Yeah.
He went to law school. He's part of the state. And so when he was younger, he went to West Point.
Okay.
So
Okay.
got in the military or whatever, like right out of like high school or college, and was sent there. And he said that they started putting him through all these weird trainings. And I think I've talked about this on the show before. So if you're a fan from way back when, I'm sure I've said something similar to this. But he basically was like, they were like Jason Bourne type training.
Wow.
No
You
shit.
know, so they're taking, the best of the best. If you get into West Point, you're, as far as intelligence and like your ability to serve and follow and do all that shit,
Crazy.
you're top of the class.
Yeah.
The people that end up being 4-star generals go to West Point.
Interesting.
Also could be the people in the CIA that are doing black operations and things like that. So
Jesus.
depending on what your personality type is and your skill set and all that stuff,
Sure.
they direct you into different pathways. And I believe I don't know if he dropped out or if he just like got out of that program or something, but basically he kind of realized where this was all going and that he didn't want to be like a CIA, a spook or whatever
Yeah.
they call you.
PSYOP.
Yeah.
Kat says our PSAs are legendary. You should see the 2 blue Muppets that sing "Don't Put It in Your Mouth."
Don't put it in your mouth.
In your motherfucking mouth.
Oh, you could just eat me out. You could just eat me out. Oh, you can lick it, you can stick it, you can taste it. Tuck it every drip drop, don't you waste it. Baby, slip it up, it's enough to fill your cup. This is like old school fucking.
I can't remember
Yeah.
all the words.
Yeah. Finger licking good, and I wish a
that
little
you
would
would.
go down kind of
Slow
slow
or
or
even
even fast.
fast.
Feel strong once I feel your tongue in the crack of my ass. It's sweet. Going out like that. Boy, your cock is such a tasty treat. And you can eat me out.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
So just put it in your mouth.
That was a mixtape. That was like
Way back in the day.
way back.
God.
This is like
Yeah.
early 90s.
Yeah.
Early 90s.
Yep.
Um,
That's street talk. that's straight from the streets of Jersey. Dirty Jersey.
God.
Yeah. Hilarious.
Yeah.
Margot says, I bet if you had a dog on the show, Honey would watch. I bet she would. She
All right.
loves animal shows.
Yeah.
We can bring Minion.
Yes.
Minion.
What was I going to say? Okay.
Stuff.
So, hold on.
All right.
Speaking of spies and whatever.
Spies and dolls. You see, it's a play on guys and dolls.
All right.
Dan.
So, Steven,
Yes.
pick your weapon. Dagger, cleaver, dynamite, or what do they call it? What's the Grim Reaper had?
Side.
Scythe.
Dagger, cleaver. What was that?
Dynamite.
Dynamite.
Dynamite. Do I know
It's
the
a
operation?
sickle, isn't it a sickle?
Yeah, sickle or scythe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do I know what the operation is
No.
or like what? Okay.
You just
I'm
have
gonna
to
go
pick
with
one.
dagger.
You're gonna go dagger.
Yeah. Mhm.
All right, Dan.
Dynamite.
So, dynamite.
What is Roma doing over there?
That's a good question.
She's got an envelope.
Uh-oh.
She has a list of weapons on it. And now we picked the weapon we're going to be murdered with.
Awesome.
Ooh. Oh, that is awesome.
Peace was never an option.
Dude!
That is so cool. So basically, it is a goose.
It's a goose.
With a dagger in its mouth.
So do you remember the goose meme? And it's like peace was never an option.
Yes.
And it's got the dagger or whatever.
Yes.
But I've got a bunch of different.
That's hilarious.
So it's their patches, but they've got
yeah.
so you can use it for like a tactical vest.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
bag or
All right.
whatever.
That's awesome.
This is amazing. Did
Yeah.
you make these?
This is going on my body armor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I ordered these thinking they were regular patches, and then they turned out to be Velcro ones, and
Yeah.
I was like, it wasn't worth it for me to return it, and so I was like, well, these are going to be gifted.
Which
seems
one
like a
did you get?
Well, I haven't gotten any because this isn't what I wanted, but
Yeah. Any of the other ones you don't want, Roma, I'll put them on some good stuff. I got plenty of
Okay,
Velcro
the one with the
panels to
side
put
is
it on.
pretty badass, but I'm sticking with
Shut up,
Dynamite.
Dan.
yeah, I mean, I would definitely go with the
Yeah.
the
Grim
sickle.
Reaper. Yeah. No, thank you, Roma. That's awesome.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
That is badass. What do we got in the chat there, Roma?
I'm looking.
Roma, look in the chat, please. God, for God's sakes, Roma.
Let's see. The song sounds very similar.
Yeah.
Sickle is one-handed farm tool for wheat and grain. Scythe is a two-handled tool used originally for cleaning your back. Clearing your back. Oh, clearing your back 40. I was like, cleaning your back. That sounds
Just,
painful.
You know, just using the
Shred
old
it.
scythe to
Yeah.
get that back scratch.
Yeah.
Sickle, yeah.
All right,
One-handed. So yeah, I was right. Dan was wrong.
cool. I think you were both
Sure.
sort of right, but yeah,
Nope,
yeah.
nope. She just wants
Yeah.
it. She can have it.
Yeah,
Why not?
fair enough. Yeah.
My goose has dynamite.
Okay. So guys, Roma, did you want to do the AI predictions for the new year?
Well, yeah, I have an article.
Perfect. Excellent. So I won't start there. Where I'm going to start is Roma Epstein's list came out.
I heard that. I
Yeah.
didn't look through it.
I haven't really looked through it. I've just trusted Twitter X to give me the accurate information.
I had already seen previous lists that had come out,
Yeah.
and I wasn't really super shocked about the people that were on the list.
Yeah. I mean, basically anybody who's anybody seems to be on the list. Like Leo DiCaprio is on there.
I'd
I
seen that before.
I think Scorsese was on there. I'm sure
think
probably
even, like-
Tarantino was probably on there.
I remember seeing it before, and there was like some people here, like, so Tom Hanks is on it. I know that.
Yeah.
I think it was like
You know who's clean? Bill Cosby. Good dude. Good dude.
that's
Real good
funny.
dude. I don't know. He might be on there. I don't know.
I think Fergie was on there. There's a few people that I was like,
Oh,
really?
yeah.
Like, yeah.
What
heard
about Will I
Oprah.
Am?
Oprah was on there.
I'm not surprised that Oprah's on there. She's a fucking pedophile for sure. She's
Oh,
not
yeah.
a pedophile. She's a groomer.
Yeah, I heard she
Ooh.
was into the trafficking.
Right. Yeah. She did it for Weinstein.
Yeah, it's fun. That's fine.
Yeah. And that's like a known thing.
Yeah,
She's
they're
a
just giving
fucking-
those kids careers.
Yeah.
What do you think? Interview with a Vampire. How do you think? What's her name got that? Kirsten Dunst.
Well, you know, it's really funny though. Is they were saying one of the reasons it wasn't that big of a deal is because Trump's not on it, and everybody wanted Trump to be on it. And
Absolutely.
he's not.
Yeah. Yeah. People are saying he is on it, but
Nobody's seen it.
no. Yeah. Well, and
It would
you
be
know.
everywhere.
You know. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that would make national news like
Yeah.
everywhere,
Yeah.
especially with the political.
Margot says
Stuff
not
going
Tom
on.
Hanks. Yeah, no.
Don't
Tom
worry.
Hanks.
Colin Hanks is fine, Margot, and Colin Hanks is the new Tom Hanks. I'll tell you that.
Okay,
Yeah. Have you guys seen Colin Hanks in Fargo?
I have no idea. who
I
that
didn't
is.
see him in Fargo, but I saw him in Dexter.
I've seen all of
That
Fargo.
was John Lithgow.
I've seen
no,
the Fargo.
he was
so
he was one of the bad guys in Dexter.
Are you sure he wasn't the black guy that said "surprise, motherfucker"?
Yeah, no, that was
is
definitely.
he
Okay.
black?
No,
Oh,
not particularly. No,
okay.
looks kind of like Tom Hanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah, he got that good hair.
Got it.
No, he's a very unassuming, like, just white
Dude. Yeah.
So he's like the perfect guy for a lot of roles, and especially in like Fargo, perfect as like a kind of a cuck cop.
Oh, is he not? Is he the small guy?
In Fargo?
He's a small guy in life. There's and I think he played he might be British though. He plays Watson. I
No,
think.
that's yeah. I know exactly. That's the main guy.
Yeah.
And then Billy Bob Thornton plays the bad guy.
Yeah.
And then Colin Hanks is like an ancillary character that helps the main heroine.
I watched it in like probably 2016. I watched it for Billy Bob Thornton. I fucking love Billy Bob
Dude,
Thornton.
Are we talking
So
about the
good.
movie or the show?
Show.
The show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't
season
see
1
the
of the show.
show.
Oh yeah, you got to see that, dude. It's
They're
it's
both-
really
both
really
seasons
The
good.
are
movie
good.
was
All
great
5.
because
I've only
it's
seen the first
my
2.
deal. Like I have that deal. That's my deal.
Exactly. Yeah. So Dan had his renaissance at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but it's so similar. It's so great. And then they also do like different time periods. So like the first one's in early 2000s, and then like the second one is like in the 80s, and then
Jesus
they go back
Christ,
to
how
like
Might be
much
the
70s.
fucked up
70s,
shit
yeah.
happened in Fargo.
Well, and it's all kind of around Fargo. So it's like Michigan, Minnesota,
Wisconsin.
Sioux Falls, South Dakota, so like kind of
Oh,
right
okay.
around the area. So
All right.
it's just a cool series because they take these like horrific crimes that are based on true stories, and then they just basically extrapolate them and have the
Oh.
characters created and
Okay, that
reenact
does
the
sound
whole
fucking
thing.
awesome.
It's good.
Well,
It's
I'm
good.
gonna have a lot of time.
Season 1 is very, very good. Season 2
I like-
is good.
I like season 2. I don't know that I watched anything. When did they come out? I feel like I watched 1 and 2, and I think those were
Season
the
5 is on right now.
those were the only 2 that were out at the
Yeah.
time.
So season 5's on right now. It might have started before COVID. Like COVID might have messed up this,
Yeah.
like they couldn't shoot for a year or something
All
like
right.
that.
Well, then I need to watch those.
Yeah. Season 5 seems good. Season 4 is kind of I hate it because it's set like it's all diversity and inclusion shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Basically it's here's the black gangsters who do cool shit, but
It's-
here's all the white people being assholes to all of them and all that stuff. And I'm just like, I get it. Yes, there was shit that was fucked up that happened, but you don't have to like tell me how. You don't have to. That doesn't have to be the main thing about it. I'm
Right.
like, I'm sorry, Chris Rock, that you got to put in this fucking season. That I'm not going to sit here and listen to this shit that we all hear everywhere we go.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to be so guilty and we're supposed to be so fucking whatever. I'm sorry, Chris Rock. I would love to watch your season, but I
Right.
just can't get past the first fucking episode.
Well, nobody likes to be lectured for an entire season of
Yes.
shit. It's just it's just overdone,
Yeah.
So it's,
and it's not fresh or new.
Yeah.
Nobody's learning any lessons. We've
Mhm.
all hear it on Twitter every day. It's like, okay, can we have a story? Can we watch something that takes us out of fucking the bullshit Twitter world, like where we can like be in a fantasy land that's like
yeah. And
entertaining?
I'm like, and this is just last year.
Yeah,
This isn't like
wow.
3 years ago when it was like, oh, everybody's fucking,
Right.
the world is so,
so it's
you know.
been it's been running since 14.
Okay.
14.
2014.
Damn.
Yeah.
So I think I watched
Okay.
it in 2016. So that would have been enough time for the first 2 seasons.
Yeah.
So
But it's also kind of, the only thing I can equate it to is kind of like how the actor Orlando Jones, he had a role in American Gods as Anansi, the African spider god. And he
a
had
Nazi?
Anansi.
Anansi.
Yes.
Okay.
But he had this opening scene where he was on a slave ship that the Dutch came and stole a bunch of slaves, and then one of the
Dutch were good at that.
really good.
They were very good. Yeah,
So,
the best, actually.
one of them was praying to Anansi to come release them, and Orlando Jones did this absolutely magnificent, just whole
Spider
just
God thing.
speech about
Okay.
just rising up and not taking it and
I
just
remember
like
that. Yeah.
sinking the boat and everything. And then from there, he was essentially fired from the show because it was at like the height of BLM and stuff. And it was
Mhm.
like, no, that had nothing to do with it. Like he was like, this was what the time period was all about. And of
Mhm.
course, a god is going to, promote to his people
Mhm.
Don't put up with their fucking shit. You guys are more than them.
Mm-hmm.
Burn the boat to the ground.
So wait, he was getting the slaves to take over
The ship that they were on, yes.
Then why would he fucking
Because it was too...
a white guy saying it?
Most likely.
Okay.
But he was, you know, he came as backlash, and he was essentially removed from the show because he was promoting black hate. And it's like,
I don't get it.
No, that's not what that was about. It was but
I get
you know,
though. Yeah.
Yeah, I was
he was the victim of the time.
It was poorly timed.
Yeah.
Just to say, American Gods was also another fantastic show.
If you like hate speech.
Kat said that I think a lot of shit's going to come out about Tom Hanks. I agree.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think Tom Hanks is a closeted creep.
I saw an
which is unfortunate because I really like him.
I saw an unfortunate video where he was at like a child drag show and he's like clapping as this little girl's coming off of the stage and he's like, "Oh, sexy baby." Sexy baby, and she just fucking comes off the stage and then walks by him. That was all I saw.
That is not a good look.
Well, out of context. I'm just kidding. Sure, he could have been clapping for that any sexy baby coming off the stage.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Shocked the fuck out of me.
Well, and so something else that apparently he's done, and I don't know if he still does it or not, but he used to like post random pictures, and I think it's to Twitter, of like lost children's items. So like it'll be like he would take pictures of like a child's shoe in the street, or like one mitten, or like just weird stuff, and people are like, "What the fuck is this?" Some kind of
like, "I love pizza."
Yeah, exactly.
If you guys don't know,
I
get
do
on
know.
Twitter.
Yeah,
you'll find out. Yeah,
Pizzagate all over again.
Yeah, interesting.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Well,
so this was years ago though, so I don't know if he's still doing that.
So,
I would doubt he is.
Margo says, "Not Tom Hanks."
Yeah.
She said that twice.
I know. We're destroying her.
Illusions. Anyone else interesting or?
Nope. Everybody's boring.
Well, but what I was gonna say about that, Roma, is all Corys are pedophiles.
Ah,
That's the point of this podcast.
Okay.
The whole show is a culmination.
Named Corey is a pedophile. And I have the receipts right here, Roba.
Oh, okay.
Corey from Boy Meets World.
Okay.
Topanga was hot. That's all I'll say.
All right.
Guess she was more of a teenager, but you know, what? Look, Roma.
Well, he was also a teenager.
It's a pattern.
He was also a
It
teenager.
is a pattern, Roma. Quit protecting Corys.
Okay.
No, but actually, what we were talking about is I was saying that the Corey Haim and Corey
Feldman.
You know, Corey Haim's dead.
Didn't he kill himself?
Yes.
Did he? Okay, I know he overdosed or killed himself. One of the two. Yeah, same. I know. But
both were in Goonies, I think.
I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And
If
Lost
not-
Boys.
If not, they were both in Goonies, Lost Boys, and Stand By Me.
Yeah.
I think they were in all three of those.
Yep. And touched every one of the children in that movie, even the little Asian guy.
Not
Short round, wasn't it?
Not Data.
Data
Yes.
was in that?
Well, that was his name, and Goonies was Data.
What? Oh, okay. I
The
thought you meant
Asian
Star
kid.
Trek.
I don't know.
He was an android. That doesn't count.
No.
You can touch androids. We own them. They don't get to talk to
So
us.
are they? What were we saying? We were saying they're pedophile. What were we saying?
Corey.
Well, no, I'm just
Corey's
saying
a
that Michael
pedophile.
Jackson is innocent.
Oh.
So I actually think Michael Jackson could possibly be innocent.
All right, Roma.
So
I'll hear you out since I agree with you completely.
So I was listening to a podcast, really good. If you guys are into Michael Jackson or music
podcasts.
histories or podcasts or whatever, it's
Cool people.
It's called Think Twice, and it's a series. I think it's like maybe 10 episodes.
Yeah.
And it's about Michael Jackson's life, everything, rise to fame, including up to his death or whatever. And so they go through all the scandals, talk about his childhood.
What scandals?
Well, the
Macaulay Culkin doesn't back that up.
the molestation, right? Macaulay Culkin doesn't.
Yeah.
And so
He seems well adjusted.
The only white kid who
I think
loved
he's
the
actually
shit out of
doing
him.
really well right now.
His brother's doing well, and he's in
cousin.
Fargo.
His cousin.
So oh, that's right.
Yeah.
It's his cousin.
It's his cousin.
His brother.
No, it's his cousin.
His brother.
Well, whatever. That
Well, they shared a bed.
they look exactly alike.
Pretty.
A lot.
Yeah.
They've got that same like
Ratty.
face. Yes.
Yeah.
He's in
Cute
he's,
when you were a kid face, but not cute now face.
yeah, he's in something right now. It's not, is it Billions? No, that's not the one. There's a show that he's in right now. He's really good at. It's good.
It's
Think about it.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I'm listening to this Michael Jackson podcast, and at one point, and I'm like, okay, obviously he was a creep. Obviously he was weird around children, like whatever. But so part of me is like, I feel like he genuinely did love children, and I don't know that he had I feel like he wouldn't hurt children. Like I felt like he genuinely like respected them,
Yeah.
and like he was always really honest about that.
Yeah.
And like we would talk to him, and he was like, almost.
Succession. I'm sorry.
Is that what it was called?
It was called Succession. Yes.
Okay, that's a good show. You guys should watch it. Anyways, even to the point where like he would cry when he gave interviews, and I just felt like, God, I don't see him like hurting children, but
Yeah.
who knows, right?
Not in a predatory way.
right.
at all.
Maybe he's
Yeah.
just really confused and like.
He threw the dodgeball a little too hard.
Yeah. You
But,
know.
but so I'm listening, and then of course he had people that were like, well, he never touched me, and,
Yeah.
and like Macaulay Culkin's like, yeah, we slept in the same bedroom, but it was 3 stories, it's not like.
Yeah.
But so anyways, Kat agrees, MJ is innocent. So I'm listening to this podcast, and at one point they talked about how I don't know if it was the cops or the FBI or whatever, they did a raid on what was that place
Neverland
called?
Ranch.
Neverland Ranch.
Yeah.
And they found pornography, and the pornography was of mature women, like 40s.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if he was a pedophile, he would have pedophile stuff,
Yeah.
There'd
kiddie
be-
porn out the wazoo. It
Yeah.
would be everywhere.
Yeah.
And
Boxes of
apparently,
Polaroids.
supposedly, according to these reports, they never found any. And
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no reason for him to have adult pornography.
Yeah.
So like when I heard that, I was like, wait
Yeah.
a minute.
Well, and like, he had the most money in the world. He could have had anything he wanted, and I mean, he did. He had the fucking Elephant Man skeleton,
Yeah.
fucking his own amusement park, a chimp,
He could
all
have-
of these things.
He had
could
a
have
giraffe.
whatever he fucking wanted.
Yeah.
And you go into his house and you're like, oh, well, yeah, he's weird, like.
Which
and,
obviously.
And and I totally get the thing that it's like his childhood was fucked up. He was,
He didn't have one.
Joe Jackson or whatever, basically glued a microphone into his hand, or 2 microphones into his hand and made him dance.
Well, what I heard recently, very recently, and it might have been a clip from Joe Rogan. People were saying that he was actually castrated as a boy. His father chemically castrated him in order to keep his voice high.
Wow.
That's
I would
what
not be shocked by that.
I wouldn't
in
either,
the
because
fucking
he never
least.
really matured
No.
properly, and he
You remember-
always had that high pitched voice.
You remember like his chest and shit with the when he was doing that video like right around the time of Lisa Marie?
Yeah, it was.
And he just it looked like a boy's chest, like he just didn't have testosterone in his system. And
a couple people had come out and said that he had been chemically castrated
Yeah.
as a
And-
child.
and I think that's it, is like even on like Tinder nowadays, I'm on there and there'll be people that are like, I'm asexual, and it's like more than a couple.
Right.
So like you actually have to read people's profile to be like, oh, you're on
You're
this
not even down.
sex app. Not that that's all it is, but
That's
I'm
all
like,
it is. Let's
but I'm
be
like,
honest.
there's a friends. There's a thing where you can put, I just want to meet friends, or I just want to meet, fucking business relationships, or I want to meet, love interests or
Mhm.
whatever. And so I'm like, I guess these people, and of all the people I could see being that way,
Right.
fucking he would be number one.
Absolutely.
Is like an asexual, just weirdo.
Yeah.
Which is fine if that's what you want to be. That's cool.
Right.
But I just couldn't see him being predatory towards kids. It's like I could see him like if you had 2 young kids together and they don't even know what they're doing, but they're just being little weirdos.
Well,
like
he
I could
would've-
see that shit happening. But not anything like, oh, I can't wait to fuck these kids.
if he-
and,
Right.
like, no,
If he
he
had-
didn't have any of that.
If
Yeah.
he had made the list, I'd say that'd be different. But I don't think that he's even one of those people who's on the list. I
Yeah.
don't think he's on it at all.
Epstein would not have even fucking tried. He's like, I don't know what this guy likes. I could never even make him like something so I could get fucking shit on him.
Yeah.
Incriminating evidence.
But you'd
He's
think,
untouchable.
You'd think though that if he was into that kind of thing, they'd probably have been.
Yeah.
They could provide it for sure.
They would have definitely
All over the world.
hooked him
Everywhere in the
up.
world. I think wasn't he the first concert that fucking the USSR had from America?
So they talked
Probably.
about
I think so.
They actually talked about that when he did he did that one thing. He had the statue made of him, and they put it up in the cities, and it was very like they're like this was like really
Yeah.
communist Nazi like Russian propaganda. They're like this isn't a good comeback. Like
Yeah.
what was it called? Oh, it was called History. The
Yeah.
album was called History.
Yeah. His story. History.
Kat says it's was it Kieran Culkin and Rory
Yeah.
Culkin, brothers,
Okay.
not cousins.
See? Thank you, Kat. Kat knows what I'm talking about.
But so, anyways, after listening to that podcast, it really made me think. Now, there's that documentary called Return to Neverland, I
Mhm.
think. I've never seen that, but
Yeah.
apparently that's pretty damning.
But that's the thing is like anything that you want to prove to someone you can do. They just have to be open to it. And so all you have to do is set things up in the right way, get the right people to say the
That's-
right things in the right, order and all that stuff. It's like you could take the same interviews that you would use to support Michael Jackson or to condemn
And-
Michael Jackson.
and damn him
and
at
just
the same time. That's right. All
edit
you've gotta
them
do is spin
properly.
it. Yep.
Yeah, that's all you have to do.
Well-
And then put the right dun dun,
Yes.
and like a picture of him just looking fucking mean.
Why
It's like,
would they
come
kill
on,
him?
people.
Why would they kill him?
Yeah, exactly.
They fucking killed him.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that doctor did.
Yeah. As if that wasn't a setup.
But I also think with the doctor thing, it could have been that they just wanted, the doctor just wanted to make him happy. The doctor was getting paid $100,000 a month or whatever
Well, it
it
was
was.
negligence for sure.
Yeah, to just do whatever the guy wants and fucking
Depends
just do
on-
it and just do it and just do it. And then suddenly one day it goes bad.
Depends
you know?
on what kind of conspiracy you feel like following.
Absolutely. Yeah. But I'm the path of least resistance. I don't think people are so brilliant that they're coming up and scheming
Well,
and
I
doing
don't
all
think
these things.
I don't think that they would have. I don't know what the conspiracy is that they killed him on purpose, but I know that he was supposed to be on tour. He was supposed to do 100 freaking locations or whatever, and he was like, "I don't have the energy to do this."
Yeah.
There's no way they wanted to kill. Well, that's not true though, because one of the conspiracies that I'm thinking about is that they killed him because they had rights to his trademarks and stuff, and so if he died, they'd make more money than if he was alive and resisting. He kept dropping out of tour dates.
I was
and-
going to say, and probably insurance
Well,
for the tour
and-
dates and things like
and
that
also
too.
something else that I had found out recently is that he was starting to come out towards the end of his life about the fact that they wanted him dead and he was going to start outing people. He was going to actually start outing
outing them about what?
about the child enslavement industry.
Oh,
Oh, all right.
well,
And
maybe.
he's a big fan. Or not. I don't know.
I think he genuinely cared for children. I just don't know if that was weird or not. I don't know
Yeah.
how he was weird, but
I
I,
feel
don't
like-
know.
I feel like he might have been stuck in that time period of I'm an innocent child as
Yes.
well. And so I think that's why
Well, it
if you
doesn't
consider him to be an adult man,
It's-
then yes, then he is not doing good things. If you consider him to be a person with the mind of a child that is literally emotionally the same as a child, which I think he kind of was.
It seems
'Cause-
that way. Because even I was listening to interviews and stuff, and people were saying, when he first kind of broke away from his dad and the Jackson 5 and stuff, and he had done The Wiz, and they were bringing him to Studio 54, and he'd never experienced it. He'd never been he didn't stay out. He didn't drink. He didn't he'd never
Yeah.
been around all these, this promiscuous drug culture.
No.
And it was
Yeah.
scary to him. And all these people were scary to him. And
Women,
yes.
come on, man.
women
that's
that wanted him.
Yeah.
And stuff, and he'd probably be like, "Oh fuck, what is going?"
Yeah.
I
I know that there were a couple women that were forever kind of they loved him and were in love with him, and he just couldn't
Yeah.
reciprocate that.
Didn't
but it's not
have
like
the
he was
mental or
out.
emotional capacity.
It's not like he was
for it.
out chasing other women. He just wasn't down with it.
And Lisa Marie Presley, you know, she was the whatever, the princess of rock.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's Elvis's son. Well, he's the king of pop.
Daughter,
Whatever.
In 2024.
Roma.
don't assume.
You don't know. Yeah. So, and then you have the king of pop. And so it kind of makes sense that they would kind of be put together.
Mm-hmm.
And then whether or not he had sperm even
Mm-hmm.
to have blanket, baby blanket. Do you
Which
get
is
it?
normal.
and
yeah.
his other couple
Yeah.
of kids.
Somebody said to me, they said, oh, you know, like baby blanket. And I was like, holy shit. That's Michael Jackson's kid, baby blanket.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So, you know, yeah, it's just, it's like, I can't even consider him an adult man with the same urges as adult men have.
I
And
find
I
it
think-
hard to believe too.
And I think
I
to
agree with
convict
you on that.
someone of that kind of fucking, you know, like in the court of public opinion or whatever, you have to look at that. You have to consider that this man is not a predator at all.
So one
Should
of the-
he be left alone with children? Probably not overnight, but otherwise you're fine.
Right.
He's not trying to get them in a porta potty to fucking do some crazy shit to them,
Right.
you know? Yeah,
Well-
he really just wants to ride a merry-go-round with them.
Right. Well, and so, you know, the first case that, or one of the major case that came out, the kid accused him of whatever he accused him of, and, you know, comes to find, the kid went back on it later,
Yeah.
and he said that his mother had talked him into doing it, and apparently she was pretty damn crazy and was also very manipulative, and they were trying to get
Yeah.
money out of him.
Oh,
And
taking
then-
advantage of children, are we?
Yeah.
You know?
And then, you know, and then of course you have like Macaulay Culkin and other child stars that were
Yeah.
like, yeah, we hung out, like nothing weird ever happened. He's
Yeah.
like, we would play video games and
Did Corey Haim and Corey Feldman ever accuse him of anything?
no.
I feel like they didn't. I feel
I
like
don't think they
I think
did.
they
I feel like
talked about-
Feldman didn't.
I feel like, yeah, I think
it was
and
other
Feldman
people in
Feldman talked about
Hollywood.
other people in Hollywood.
And
Oh,
Feldman-
he talked about a lot of people in
Yeah.
Hollywood.
had a big phase where he dressed like Michael Jackson. So
yeah.
I would imagine I
yeah,
think
he was
even,
like his buddy.
I
like
think
they were,
even when
yeah.
he was kind of older, like I don't, it's not
Yeah.
like he was like, you know,
Mhm.
an 8-year-old that's like, I'm going to be Michael Jackson when I grow up. Like
Yeah.
he was,
Well, now he's even doing his own music thing, and it's not going great. Surprisingly,
so wait, what are the
Life's
the
kind of been hard for him.
it was it Corey and what's the other Feldman? There's two of them, isn't there?
not that I know of.
No, it was just
Just
Or just
Corey
the
Haim
Corey-
and Corey Feldman, the two
Okay.
Coreys.
It was just
Yeah.
the Coreys.
My ex-husband used to see them in social circles, the Coreys. Apparently everybody hated them because they were fucking just
They were-
bratty and stuck. They're famous.
Douchebags.
They were
Yeah.
douchebags,
Fuck yeah.
yeah.
They were famous sex symbols since they were before they were in puberty.
And they
So,
would show up to parties because he lived in the LA area and used to party in the LA area in the, you know, late 80s, early 90s. And they would show up to
ladies,
parties.
I call it.
And they would show up to like parties and stuff, and
Mhm.
people were just like super,
Yeah,
super
roll
over it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Well, things didn't ever really seem to go well for child stars from like the 80s and 90s.
Bonaduce. Danny Bonaducci? No, nobody. All right, guys.
Do
You guys
we?
know who? What? Huh?
Oh, Danny Bonaducci over
Yeah.
here? Yeah.
Yeah.
Or is that
That's the redheaded guy. No, the redheaded guy is Danny Bonaducci. He's got the really smoky voice and does radio, you know, and like punches people in the face. And
okay?
he's the one that threw the guy over his head and landed him on his face
Oh.
at like a MTV music thing, like
Oh, I don't remember.
like in like 90 something. Yeah, but anyways, busted his teeth out, I guess. Or something.
Yikes!
Yeah,
Oof.
he,
Oof.
he
Brutal.
shoots a bunch of steroids and drinks a lot. So.
Oh,
Oh, Breaking Bonaducci. He had his own fucking
Okay.
reality TV show. It was right about the same, probably maybe 3 years after the Osbournes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
something like that. Like it was maybe 5 years, but
Okay.
you know, because they were like kind of the first. Yeah.
Margot says Partridge Family, Danny Bonaducci.
Yep. He was a little redheaded kid. And,
Okay.
and had a tough go of things.
It sounds
you
like
know?
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Do you want to talk? You want me to segue you into AI?
I sure do.
Okay. Well, let me talk to you about this, Roma. So, you guys have heard of AI, I'm sure. You know what AI is.
No.
artificial intelligence. So basically AI is like taking like the algorithms that like give us all the videos that we want and stuff, but it's kind of putting it into more of like a user-friendly way, like a user-friendly format to where it's like conversational with us.
Sure.
So Twitter, X, has this thing called Grok, and Grok is, and that's actually the last tab there, Roma.
Okay.
Grok is it has to
Granny Rock?
use something. What's that?
Granny Rock?
Granny Rock? Yes.
Yeah, grokking.
Yeah. Granny Cock.
Oh, jeez.
Grandpa Cock.
Oh, Jesus.
Grok.
Yikes.
So it uses some sort of data. And the cool thing about Grok is it uses Twitter. Yes.
So
Oh.
I actually heard something about this. Somebody was saying they were talking about how Elon had bought Twitter and he was going to
Yeah.
lose all this money. And they're like, why the heck would he make this terrible decision? And they were saying he's playing 4D chess and that he was already planning on using all of Twitter's information to create an AI platform.
Yeah.
Because he's like, normal AI, you're just giving it like encyclopedias and like whatever it is
Yeah.
you're feeding into it. He's like,
Yeah.
if you have Twitter, which is like a huge communication source that's up to date
All
by the
time.
millisecond.
Yes.
Yes.
It is the best plan. And anybody that bets against Elon making good fucking decisions, you're a fucking stupid asshole that doesn't get, I appreciate that you're questioning it, but you're fucking losing. This guy he's a visionary.
Would that AI be closer to like the computer chick from, Strange Science? Weird Science.
Yeah.
Incredibly intelligent, British, and like hyper fit
Yes.
and tired of everybody's fucking like bullshit.
Yes. No, that's basically what it is. It is, and it's only learning more and more and more. And so, like, what you can do, there's certain application or web apps. One of them called Poe, like Edgar Allan Poe.
Mhm.
Which is it his birthday today? I think it is.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, or see him down in the bottom corner of the screen there, Roma.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's how I know. I think it's his birthday.
Okay.
But it's called Poe. And so what Poe is?
Oh, it is his birthday.
Fantastic. Happy birthday, Edgar Allan Poe. So what Poe is they take basically they have different bots. And so like one of them is your personal assistant. And so you put like any sort of shit in there and it'll whatever. You can ask it questions.
Like
you can
Ask Jeeves?
kind of. One of the things about it though is at least on Poe, it stopped being up to date in September 2021.
Okay.
Oh.
So that's the point where all the information that it has is compartmentalized to.
Okay.
Then there's a different bot that you can utilize that's connected basically to the internet. And so
Clippy?
it has to yeah, it's Clippy. So it has to reach out and do searches. So like when you ask it something like, I'll ask it something like, and actually Roma, bring up the Grok, the next tab over. Okay. So you see at the bottom there, it says, Grok something. So just say like, maybe, write me a breakup, paragraph that's depressing.
You're going to make me spell paragraph on this
Okay.
show?
Write me a breakup letter.
Okay, damn it.
Letter that's depressing.
You're going to make me spell depressing? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Roma knows
Don't do
depressing.
this to me.
She writes it to her boyfriend like all the time. Yeah.
I was going to say, just put it sad.
Yeah. And so just hit enter and let's see what it comes up with. So basically you can treat it like so many different things. Like you can view it as your personal assistant. You can also have it write like technical documents for you. So if you're like, hey, how do you change a light bulb? It will write you like a
Step-by-step guide.
Yes, as how to change a light bulb. And what it does is it reaches out to whatever sources it has
Right.
and then compiles the information. Is it perfect? No.
Good Lord.
So Roma, yeah, read us the letter.
Dear partner's name, as I write this letter, I'm overwhelmed with a mix of emotions that I never thought I would have to face. It is with a heavy heart that I must tell you that our time together has come to an end. I never imagined that the love we shared would come to such a difficult crossroads, but sometimes life has a way of forcing us to make hard decisions. As much as it pains me to say this, I have come to the realization that we are no longer growing together and our paths are diverging in ways that make it impossible to continue our journey as a couple. I will forever cherish the memories we made together and the love we shared. You have been an important part of my life, and I will always be grateful for the time we have spent together. However, as we both know, love alone is not always enough to sustain a relationship. Please know that this decision was made not lightly, and it breaks my heart to have to say goodbye. I hope that in time you will be able to see that this is the best decision for both of us. With a heavy heart, I bid you farewell and wish you all the happiness and love that you deserve. Yours and your name.
And now put in not depressing enough and then hit enter.
Okay. Searching for breakup letter not depressing enough. Subject, a heartfelt farewell. Dear partner's name, as I write this letter, I am filled with a mix of emotions that I never thought I would have to face. It's with a heavy heart that I must tell you that our time together has come to an end. But let's not dwell on the sadness because I've always believed that laughter is the best medicine.
Okay, it's not doing it right.
I think it thinks that you want it less depressing.
Yeah, and that's fine because these bots are not perfect, and that's why they're AI, and that's why they learn from you. Now, usually at the end of these, at least with Poe, you can thumbs up or thumbs down.
Okay.
So it's just like with your algorithms, because that's all this really is like an algorithm, but it's becoming more and more intelligent. And as we get towards where, okay, so
I don't know. The little box down below is pretty fucking depressing as
Dear
it is.
depression, I'm sorry, but I think we are just not meant for each other. Our birth charts don't work. You never want to go out and go on adventures with me, so I stay in bed with you all day, which isn't good for either of us. I think it's better if we break up. It's over.
And so this is
Jesus.
actually Grok finding tweets that are pertinent to it and adding those in there,
Right.
which is great. And so I guess it's kind of a tool that you have to learn how to use. Like if we were using Poe, it would have done exactly what I wanted it to do because
Okay.
it's not using Twitter as the basis.
Right.
But like I'm thinking about like AI, okay? So this thing's gonna adapt to me.
Sure.
So as I thumbs up, as I thumbs down, as I use it more, you use it less, it's going to understand that I'm more or less satisfied in what it's doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think about this and I try to apply it to the future. Like think about a video game.
Okay.
So when AI is the way is advanced and quantum computing, okay? Have we talked about quantum computing?
I mean,
Okay.
I have personally in my life, but I don't know.
Yeah, so quantum computing is this concept that, right now computing is ones and zeros. So it's
Sure.
on and off. It's 8-bit, it's 16-bit, it's 24-bit. So like those 8 bits are ones and zeros that you change the, arrangement of
Sure.
to, and there's like a matrix of what those 8, 64 things can mean. And quantum computing is going to be a 0 and a 1, and then everything in between. And so what that means to me, at least this is my rudimentary understanding of it. Like, I don't know if this is actually the truth because I haven't but this is like me extrapolating it myself, is that in that same, so like if I have 8 bits to explain a word to you,
Okay.
I can only explain one word to you, right? With quantum computing, instead of just a 1 or a 0, 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 I can have any number of things in there. And so you can really create a language that is so full of depth,
Right.
that you can transmit so much more data
Sure.
in the same size package.
Yeah.
So really the efficiency of those 8 characters, instead of it just becoming,
On, off, on, off.
ones and zeros, yeah, you could have any number of anything. So as long as you have something to translate it on the other end, holy shit, you could have the fucking Declaration of Independence in this motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know, if you have the right translation on the other side. You know, so how fast are we going to be able to search? How fast are we, you know, once we have like a protocol that everybody understands everybody,
Sure.
how fast are we going to be able to communicate?
Right. Send and receive information, which is almost
Very.
instantaneous now. So that's crazy to even think about.
And so how fast is Grok going to be able to search all this stuff, because it's just
Right.
got, you know, that's what I'm looking at. And I'm like, so a video game will start off with you in a gray room, and then you go, you know, let's see, cars, sex, violence, food. Let's go with cars. So, you know, you go that direction, and suddenly this thing is melding itself to you.
Right.
It's learning what you want.
Which would be amazing. How cool would that be?
No game would be the same for anybody. You know,
Right.
it's like everybody loves Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Because you can do all these things. You can, you know, fucking, you know, rob banks, and you can drive cars, and you can, you know, fuck prostitutes, and you can do whatever. You know, it's a whole world. This is going to be way, way beyond that. Like, your game is never going to look like anybody else's game.
Yeah.
It's going to be your game.
Well, it's like the what they used to do, those books, the Choose Your Own
Choose Your Own
Adventure.
Yes,
yeah.
But
exactly.
only on the quantum level.
Yes, and it will
Let's-
know by like how dilated your pupils get and how hard your heart rate
Yeah.
gets and
Well,
stuff.
it's-
So if you like scary shit, if you like what, you know, carnival rides, if you whatever it is,
Yeah.
you know,
It kind of reminds me of like on Rick and Morty. There was an episode where they go to an arcade on another planet, and they play this game called Roy, and it's where, like, to introduce Morty to it, Rick puts the headset on him, and his eyes roll into the back of his head,
yeah,
and he wakes up as a kid in school, and he's looking out the window at these other kids playing football, and then it like fast forwards to him being like the football star, and then from there it's like him going to work for somebody's, like his girlfriend's dad
Yeah.
at like the
at
carpet
a
store.
paint shop, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And then you know, he gets cancer,
Yeah.
and then like
Yeah.
he beats cancer, and then he goes back to work at the carpet store,
Yeah.
and then he falls off a ladder,
Yeah.
and like dies.
been through a divorce, been through, you know,
and then
yeah.
all of a sudden he wakes up and he's like, wait, no, I'm Morty. What happened to my wife? We're all out of Off-White Persian.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, yeah,
Rick was
yeah.
like, lame, you only made it to like 55 or some
Yeah,
shit, and
yeah.
you beat cancer. Like, why the hell did you waste your 40s on like bird watching?
yeah,
And then, you know, when Rick puts his in, he's going off grid with Roy. He burned up his social security card. He's going off the grid.
Yeah.
It was
The funniest part to that to me is when he's like, "You went back to the
to the carpet
store
Yeah.
after you
beat
survived."
cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's simulation theory. That's what Elon believes in, you know, like, or at least he's considerate of, you know. And I think that's really where this all heads is like once we have quantum computing and AI can, because we're in the dark ages of information right now. We're in the dark ages of data. We have all this data. We have all this data about everything you've ever searched for on Amazon, everything you've ever searched for in fucking, Google, and you know, all these things that make you happy. We just haven't put it all together yet.
That's
we don't
in
have the
a
tools.
user-friendly way, an ultra user-friendly way. I was actually reading.
or hands off. You know, like
Right.
hands off way. That's what we're waiting for.
Well,
you know?
and it can be hands off. That's still user friendly. It's even more user friendly.
Super,
But
yeah, the most.
the most.
Yeah.
I was reading an article and somebody was talking about, everybody's like, oh, AI is going to, become sentient and destroy the world and whatever. And they're like, but, here's the thing. Before that happens, there's going to be, if that happens, they were basically talking about how AI is going to, basically kind of what you're saying is
Yeah.
that like all this data is going to become so usable and
Mhm.
customizable to
Mhm.
our individual experiences, and it's just going to enrich our lives. But the things that I fear are obvious, aside from it like being sentient and destroying humanity, is the loss of individuality and creativity. Like the arts, music. They're even
Yeah.
saying, so like the Actors Guild just recently had a strike, and one of the things that they were striking about is that they are trying to get the copyright to the likeness of the actors,
Yeah.
saying that they can forever use them and
Perpetuity.
Yeah.
use them as
Yeah.
and it's like
So, once
you don't
Clint
even
Eastwood dies, they get to make as many Clint Eastwood movies as they want.
right. I don't even know
Yeah.
if it's when you die. I think that
Yeah.
they're just saying like if you've ever been in a movie,
Yeah.
we can use your likeness however we want
Yeah.
from here on out.
If you're Dirty Harry, we can make as
Oh.
many Dirty Harry movies as we want with you,
Okay, that's
without you involved.
That's kind of
Yeah.
like in the movie that just recently came out, The Flash, within the last couple of years. They actually brought back an almost exact likeness CGI version of, they did it with
Michael
Keanu
Jackson.
Reeves.
Oh, okay.
They did it with Nicolas Cage. They did it with, it was the original Batman.
Adam
Oh,
West.
Yes, Adam West.
Mhm.
He was in it too. And it was like in different
Yeah.
universes,
Yeah.
but they were all like of the same quality.
Yeah.
But they didn't
I mean,
say anything,
If you've
but they
sold
showed up.
if you've sold your likeness, if they can use you in any
That's what they're
publication,
trying to do.
And that's kind of like what Dave Chappelle was fighting for a long time, is that, with Chappelle's show, they were saying that they owned him, and if he didn't cooperate, that they were going to make him crazy and on drugs. And, that's what happened to him for
it worked
13 years.
for a little while. Yeah.
And, Cat Williams, he's also somebody who absolutely refused to do that, because they were
Yeah.
like, Cat, we want you to be in a dress for something. And he's like, fuck that, I'm a
Yeah.
pimp.
We want you to play something other than a pimp.
And he's like, absolutely fucking not.
Yeah.
I own my shit.
Yeah.
My shit is all me.
And I think that's so that's where the Matrix comes in, is basically to the point where it can process our wants, our desires, and then feed them back to us in a way that is indiscernible from reality, or even if it is discernible from reality, you'll prefer that.
right.
Because
Well,
why would you go to your stupid life where everybody treats you like an asshole when you could go to your life where you're a hero that is also sexually attractive, hasn't gained 15 pounds over COVID,
It's like Cypher in The Matrix,
Yeah,
where
exactly.
he was like, I will sell them all out,
Yeah.
but you're going to plug me back
I
in.
know that this steak doesn't taste like steak, but, it's...
Ignorance is bliss.
Yes, exactly.
And I want you to put me in. I want to be rich.
well, and
Yeah.
here's the thing. It's like, how do we even know that we're not in it right now? And
Simulation theory.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like, and even if you don't go to it from a matrix simulation theory, if you believe in like a god and an ultimate creator, it's still kind of a simulation. Like, unless you're just like, a materialistic atheist that just believes like this is it. When you die, it's black, whatever. It's like, we're put into some type of simulate. It's some type of biosphere, something.
Controlled.
It's controlled. There's limitations.
What about when you throw somebody who is an atheist into something like that? Like, do you think that they would have a harder time than somebody who's like a devout Christian or something that you throw into it?
Yeah.
Like, what do you think the psychological effect of your world being created around you by a creator, like AI, whoever it is, Elon Musk?
I think if you haven't, I think it depends on the atheist. I think a lot of atheists tend to worship like the gods of science.
Yeah.
And so if you sold it to them as like, oh no, this is like,
The all-knowing God atheism.
this is mathematics and science and
Yeah.
whatever, I think they would have a pretty easy time with that. I think they don't appreciate the nuances of like the supernatural, and like
I feel like there would be some sort of a crisis of faith.
I would imagine
By
most
somebody.
people would have a crisis
Yeah,
of faith.
I just don't know who yet.
Yeah.
I can't predict who
I mean, I tell
would
you
be
what,
the
if you
most
if you
affected.
took the average Christian that's like pretty devout,
Yeah.
and you told them that no, actually, like we're in like some bubble with, and we're just,
Yeah.
they'd freak out.
But see, but I think actually the Christians would probably do better, because I think not that you were saying like, oh, well, your regular life that is completely fucked. I think like putting someone in there and going, hey, this is all created
Right.
like by somebody.
Right.
You know, like I think a Christian would be able to go, yeah, it's kind of like God created it, only it's not as
Exactly.
good, you know?
Yeah.
And then, you know, but then you take the atheist and they're like, wait, what? Like, so somebody is in control of this that's not me.
Right.
You know, like, oh, I don't know. I just feel like that would be
Well, I definitely
a
think that
potential for
your average atheist, there's a lot of ego there.
yes.
And
yes.
so
so much ego.
Great, don't get me wrong, there's a ton of religious people that have a ton of ego, obviously, and they use their religion to stroke it. But I think your average atheist is an atheist because they have an ego and they want to control, they want to feel in control. Whereas I think that your average, you know, religious person realizes that they are not in control, and that's kind of where they draw their strength from, because they have faith that, like, I'm out of control, so, you know, somebody take the wheel, somebody else's. I could be wrong.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We're you know, postulating, I guess. One of the things that I thought was interesting, so I was trying to think of the way that AI works versus the way your brain works, right?
Okay.
And so your brain is not ones and zeros, okay? Your brain has synapses, and those synapses have the neurotransmitters that go across those synapses. So depending on what's going on in your system, you'll have different levels of different neurotransmitters being sent. And so some of those would be like serotonin. Some of them would be dopamine, you know? So like dopamine would be more for like pain, and, you know, serotonin would be more for happiness. And like, I'm just wondering if that's quantum computing. I'm wondering if that instead of a 1 and a 0, that it's the quantum computing in our brains happening. And so, like, is this where digitization, binary digitization, turns into
A form of reality.
like a nerve center,
Right,
you know,
right.
it's
Acid
very
and
interesting to
mushrooms.
me. Yes,
Those
yeah,
those
those
can-
change your neurotransmitters for
they
sure.
can
Yeah,
they can also help you unlock different parts of your brain that you didn't really think were active, or you didn't
yeah,
imagine were running, but they're like, you know, your background apps.
yeah. Yeah, it takes
Yeah.
away the
Clears the caches.
It sheds the caches. It sheds the
Yeah.
ego. It
Yeah.
clears out your cookies,
yeah,
and
yeah.
you know, it kind of
Highlights your favorites.
Yeah, it kind of resets everything, and you know, you're put into a new perspective to where you can look on things with a refresh.
Right. And they've used it. They've done studies and
With
have used
like microdosing and everything
exactly for
to help people with like psychosis,
yeah, depression.
and schizophrenia and things
So then,
like
can
that.
we just do that with AI? Could we do that with
It's
quantum
possible.
computing?
Who knows? I mean, because you could
Yeah.
create. I mean, if you can create a totally submersive reality,
Yeah,
That's
you
what the
that's
absolutely
screensaver
indistinguishable.
you can absolutely do that, because you know the point is when you're on a hallucinogenic, that seems real. That is your reality. You're completely immersed in it, and
Yeah.
and regardless of what everybody else in the room is experiencing, if they're all sober,
Yeah.
your reality is your reality. It's very real.
So I was gonna say you could microdose somebody and then set them on a good trip
Absolutely.
rather than
Oh,
the
you've
potential
gotta,
for a bad trip.
You've
Yeah.
got to be
Because
a
that would
buddy.
be the thing that would keep me from doing it. Because like,
you need a guide. You need a buddy.
yeah,
I mean,
Somebody who's
Yeah.
either been through it or who is going.
I would
through
want
it.
Keanu Reeves.
I mean,
honestly.
if you're
He'd
microdosing,
work with you.
if you're microdosing, it's going to be so minute. It's just enough to change.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, or just whatever, just a small dose.
Yeah, so you
to-
can give your microdose yourself. You're not going to. I mean, unless you're something crazy's going on, you're not going to go into a bad trip. That's the beauty of it, is it actually like it makes you more open to the world. And I know people that microdose pretty regularly, and they're like, man, I am in the best mood. I have the most energy. I'm the most creative.
Mhm.
But it's when you start doing those big doses where you're having like straight up like hallucinations, that's when things can get scary. But from what I've heard, as far as microdosing goes, it's almost like taking like an antidepressant or it's like just something, or it's like having like a drink and you're just kind of like feeling good and loosey goosey,
Well, and I think about the way that sound affects us, the way that light affects us, the way that like
Smells.
spells, yeah. That if AI could utilize that in its treatment, like even like maybe ayahuasca,
Mm-hmm.
and how it gets you over like heroin addiction and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It would be so interesting to see how something completely outside of us could affect the things inside of us,
Right.
To
Without
shape
having to
us.
ingest it or
Yeah. Eating disorders or whatever it is. I mean, it would just be mind blowing.
Yeah.
And that's a shit that like AI really excites me about is I want it to curtail to my life. I mean, because even think of like pornography, so like, I came up with the video game, scenario, but think about pornography. Like that would be detrimental. If it knew exactly what you wanted to see every single time and would play, whatever, would play to your desire.
You'd never have real sex ever again.
Fuck, dude. Yeah.
You would never have real sex ever again.
Yeah. You just need like a fucking...
Because you'd like either, the most realistic male genitalia for you.
Yeah,
or,
which is nice.
Or female genitalia for
That's
you.
all right.
Whichever it would be. It would be absolutely, like, as you said, curtailed to whatever,
as
well,
leaky
you were
as you want
choosing.
it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's great. Like realistic male and female genitalia. Porn gets real dark real fast. People,
It can.
because it does.
It gets
because
deeper
people,
and deeper and deeper.
You
need
always,
more
yes,
stimulus.
it's an addiction, like any type of drug. And so, because any type of drug or any addiction, you are chasing the dragon. You had a good experience and now you want it again. But guess what? You have to do more and more and more. And so, like, you'll notice that probably everybody notices that to some extent. Everybody's different, but that what used to, if we're talking about porn, what used to excite you initially no longer excites you anymore. And you keep searching for that next thing.
You have to reset eventually, and so I wonder if it'll be something like that, maybe where it'll have that addiction treatment aspect, of the AI where just like with an eating disorder or with whatever it is, that kind of ayahuasca treatment, maybe if you watch the porn, then you have to do the treatment before you get to see porn again or something, something like that.
Personally,
just kind of refresh.
We're getting towards the end of the show, but personally, I think porn is only detrimental. I don't think that it's ever. Yeah, I mean,
but you can't take it away from people.
No, you can't. I mean, you just like you can't take drugs away from them. You can't take anything away from people. But I'm just saying, like, to like try to mediate porn usage. I mean, either you can take it or leave it. I can leave porn. If I never saw porn again, it would not have any effect on my life.
What about all them leaky dicks?
Granted, I am a
They're
woman.
so leaky.
Granted, I am a woman, but also, I think that what happens is people try to replace relationships with that type of thing.
Yeah.
And it's not healthy. And that's what I worry about AI is that we are replacing real relationships with real people and we're going to have, AI assistants and stuff. And it can be good. I've been watching commercials lately for Alexa and it's been showing disabled people or elderly people using it to help them with their lives. So like somebody was paraplegic and that was like, hey, Alexa, like open the front door.
Make me dance. Oh, okay.
Or they had an elderly man. He's like, Alexa, turn off the lights for me or whatever. And it's really, you're like, oh, that is a really good use of it. But then also you have people that are never going to leave their fucking bed and eat themselves to death because they're calling DoorDash. And you know what I mean? So it's really.
Yeah. You're going to be working from home and then you're going to be in your dream world outside of that. And then that's all you'll do.
And it's not,
and then pretty soon you'll be in the fucking pod that's in fucking Matrix.
Because you're going to have to be because they're going to be giving you TPNs.
Yeah, because the output that you give is not beneficial to society enough. They'd rather just harbor your energy, harness your energy.
But that's sad and unfortunate. And I think because we're not created to live that way. We're not created to work in cubicles and fucking stare at screens all the time and isolate and watch porn and eat shitty food.
Yeah,
we're not
get your
supposed to
DoorDash every day and never talk to anyone.
We're not supposed to be like that. And so you can live like that, but that's not going to be a fulfilling life. And I guess, if you plug into the Matrix, I guess it could be fulfilling, but I just, it's not.
And who are you to say whether that life is more important than this life?
Right.
You know, and really that's going to be the fucking argument.
I guess the argument is that if you believe in a creator, if you're a spiritual person, that's an artificial existence, and that's not.
Yeah,
it's
not godless.
It's godless.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Well, and I think if you, I mean, think about Gen Z, like the Zoomers and stuff. A lot of them would probably be like, yeah, fuck, I'll live in the Matrix. Just fucking sign me up.
It's enticing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think about it and I was like, wow, what if I could, be
because you're also not under the perspective that they're under with, hey, what is the political landscape? What is the landscape of like, hey, are you ever going to be able to buy a house? Hey, are you ever going to be able to fucking own the things that you want? Are you ever going to have the things that, it's like, no, I'm never going to be able to have that. So, I'll give up and just go into the Matrix, put me in a pod, and I'll never know the difference.
But here's the thing, too, is like, so you have those people and they're like, well, I'm just going to be a YouTube or a TikTok star and that's how I'm going to make my money.
Yeah.
And like, that's their goals, which is cool but not everybody can do that. Like, we need plumbers and we need people to like pave the roads and like, fucking build houses. And so, okay, we end up in these pods, but who's managing these pods? Is it AI? I don't know. I don't know how that works.
The robots, Roma, remember?
Yeah, it's just
and they got the claws and the red lights.
I feel like it's bound to fail. It's not sustainable, and it's
well, until they kill off all the people that try to fight it. And that would be the Matrix.
Yeah.
That would be the movie, is all the people that try to stay outside the Matrix. They got to kill you.
Yeah.
They got to find you and kill you.
It's interesting. I'm curious to see what happens, but also terrified the shit out of me.
But it's very cool to hear you guys be thoughtful about it,
because I think about it.
And not everybody is. Not everybody considers, because it does take a lot to like, oh, well, and then what?
Right.
And then what?
Right.
And then what's human nature? And then what?
I just got to say this real quick, man. You know what else helps me?
What is it, Dan?
It helps me be thoughtful and make sure that, I stay in reality.
Methamphetamines?
Well, not directly, but, sometimes on the side.
Yeah.
But it's finding myself at the Sensible Sociopath Podcast.
.com? Wow.
Where I can have my, as I am sporting today, Sensible Sociopath Podcast t-shirt in, as we have, various different colors for both, Z, Zem, Zay, there, and R.
Yeah.
You've got your hoodies because guess what? There's snow on the ground outside, people.
Yeah, fuck you. There's snow.
There's fucking snow.
You fucking assholes.
You need socks.
You've got to have your Sen socks, and you've got to have some kind of...
Snowproof. You can walk around the snow in them.
You've got to make sure that when you're taking your hallucinogenics, you're hydrating well with your Charlie Cat mug.
Yeah.
And
put your shroom tea in there.
Where else can you find us, Steve?
Well, you can find us on the gram at the Sensible Sociopath Podcast. You can also find me at Stephen Paul Cast on Twitter X, which is where I throw down some heavy doses of a little bit of politics, a lot of comedy, and a little bit of self-loathing.
Yeah,
that's it.
All right.
Yeah. But no, we certainly appreciate you guys being here. So Superfan Dan, this could be his last show. He's getting put under.
I am on Wednesday.
Yeah, he's getting put down.
Going under the knife.
Yeah, we're taking him to the best veterinarian we know.
They told me I was going for a car ride and a pup cup.
They said, hey, this dog's knee's going the wrong way. We said, just fix it, Doc.
Just putting me out to
just
pasture.
Fix it, Dr. Corey. You pedophile.
Oh, man, this is going to be a lot worse.
Yeah.
No,
shucks.
My knee is all fucked up. I'm having ACL surgery on Wednesday.
Yeah, Dan's faking it, but no, I took Dan out shooting the other day because I'm like, this is his last stand.
This is the last hurrah.
He didn't
not
shoot me. I was surprised. He didn't shoot me.
Dan's actually a pretty good shot. I was impressed. Yeah.
I enjoy the revolver.
Yeah. Dan's actually very good with the revolver. It's impressive. But so Superfan Dan will be getting surgery this
upcoming Wednesday.
This Wednesday. And so probably next week is not going to be great. But we'll see how the rest of the weeks go after that. We're we're always here for you guys. We love you guys. We don't ever want to let you guys down, but unfortunately, life stuff does happen, and so please keep us at the front of your list for Friday nights, because we're going to be back with the Fury. And we love you all. And,
2024, we love everybody.
yes.
If I don't make it, I got Kevorkian.
Happy New Year, everybody. Yeah, and if Superfan Dan dies, we'll have cupcakes.
Yes!
All right?
Split them fuckers in half.
Once we replace him.
Good night, everybody.
We'll make the replacement, bring the
podcast in the
podcast.
The world would not be the same.
I like it.
No wonder my anxiety's so high.
Few people laughed. Few people cried.
Oh, what's in the box?
Most people were silent.
And that was it.
Now I am become death,
Sounds like a bad time.
the destroyer of worlds.
Yeah, so this doesn't seem like a great idea to me.
I suppose we all thought that, one way or another.
You didn't tell me any of that. That's crazy.
Well, Rama, when you're a hero, you don't tell everyone until you're on your podcast.
I'm about to hear some shit.
We all need to laugh.
I think just sitting down and, listening to...
The Sensible Sociopath. This is the shit you're supposed to be watching.
Gen X is going to love it. Millennials are going to be like, I'm offended.
You have offended me.
Also, my dog has a giant dick.
Oh my god, that's enormous.
I love it.
It's still a racist dog whistle.
Where you kind of have like a rotating cast of characters.
We're talking baby seals, eagles, wolves.
I'm just glad we're not going to have to eat with racism anymore.
It's worse than the butthole.
We're technically considered propaganda.
It is very contagious.
I think we really need to talk about environmentalism.
Like, are they studying pine cones?
Make yourself a nice stingray omelet. That's how Steve Irwin died. Cholesterol.
They're fucking delicious.
His father had ended up killing his mother and committing suicide.
In that order?
That's diabolical. I like it.
They had an apple gun where you could shoot Bigfoot.
Has she always been retarded?
I mean, she could have had a head injury.
You don't know anything about tartar sauce.
He had picked up a 400-pound statue and was like walking around with it.
Was the statue racist?
I'd like to think so.
It's like how they invented bacon and avocado to make a turkey sandwich tolerable.
I have a fear of fire.
Like a werewolf? Daniel, you've been our greatest viewer. Well, Daniel and Sarah and Katrina.
Daniel!